So the circus continues. Listen, I'm doing this live, whether I've got people watching or not. I couldn't go live yesterday when all the other channels put out content. I was out with the family, and the news broke while we were sitting in the car that that Lopetegui had been sacked. Obviously, everything did the rounds quite quickly across Twitter, WhatsApp, everything I was involved in just went absolutely batshit. And I was sat in the car. I was listening to the West Ham Way. I was listening to Hammer's chat. I was seeing stuff from West Ham Network, and I was going mad. I was losing my mind. The boys at West Ham Fan TV went live, and I was sat there frustrated. I was sat there annoyed. I was sat there feeling like this would be the perfect time for me to go live, and I couldn't really do it in the car. It wasn't fair on Joe and the kids. So I've woke up this morning. I've thrown together a quick thumbnail, as you saw, and I've decided to get the cleaning done in the pub, get up to my office, and just give my 5 or 10 minutes worth of what's going on. And the thumbnail obviously indicates the circus and you know the tag of the circus, roll up, etc. And it all comes down to obviously what Mark Noble said before we left Upton Park. The club's not run like a circus anymore. Well, I can tell you for certain it bloody well is. And the phrase "fool me once, shame on you; fool me twice, shame on me" really comes to mind, because what we've done to Lopetegui as a club, not a fan base, but as a club, is very, very reminiscent. In fact, it's exactly the bloody same of what we did to Avram Grant with Martin O'Neill. You know, we're sanding out new managers. We're sanding out a replacement. We've sacked him for all intents and purposes, according to TalkSport, at 5 o'clock last night or 4 o'clock last night, that we've sacked him. And the poor bastard doesn't know. He is none the wiser. We knew that because everything that was then coming out after that, you know, he TalkSport rescinded it and changed the wording of it. The fact that, you know, he hasn't been sacked, but we're thinking of sacking him, and all the rest of it. And the picture was then leaked, wasn't it, of Steiden in a Premier Inn? I don't know. It looked like a hotel, to be fair. That they're talking in quite a public setting, which, if you don't want people knowing that you're meeting with someone, you don't do it publicly, right? You kind of hire a meeting room, or you go somewhere quiet, offices, etc. You don't do it publicly, like Steiden and Potter did yesterday. Confirmation that picture was from yesterday. It's not something that was taken a few months ago or whatever. No, this was pretty much confirmed that it was taken yesterday. Is Steiden undermining the board? The board told him to go meet with Potter. I mean, there's plausible deniability for the board, isn't there? The fact that, you know, they can turn around and say, "Oh, we didn't know. He's gone behind our back. He's done this. He's done that." But the fact that, you know, it's been announced, Sky have come out and said that Lopetegui's job is on the line. West Ham have met with Potter. We're waiting for him to accept. Rather. You all know this. You've seen all of this over the last, 16 hours or so. All the other channels covered it before I did. Again, quite frustrated. I was stuck in the car, but it is what it is, and I thought I'd give myself the chance to say my piece now. Now, I will say, when Lopetegui came in, I was one for giving him a chance. I didn't think it was an awful signing. I felt that prior to some of the stuff that we were seeing, that there were shoots, there was ideas, there was a change in style, and some of it interested me. Some of it got my hopes up, I suppose, for things to come. You know, we had a good transfer window. We went out, we spent best part of 150 million quid. And I thought the green shoots of something new were going to be there. Now, turns out that's not the case. It's 2 wins in 8. You know, we had a fine little run of 2 wins, 2 draws, and it kind of papered over the cracks slightly. And now we're in a situation where he has to go. I don't think there's any choice in the matter now. He's been completely undermined by the club. I spoke to a couple of customers last night about 10 o'clock in my pub. And I said I'm embarrassed to support West Ham right now in the way that they're behaving, the way that the club are behaving with regards to Lopetegui. As I said, we did it before with Grant and O'Neill, and it's just, it really is. It's a bad look. And off the back of it, the fans look like they're not idiots, but we support this club. So, you know, it reflects badly on us too. And here we are. Potter seems to be the next poor sod through the door that has to put up with the powers that be above them. I don't think it's going to be any better for him. Now, that being said, really big fan of Potter, really big fan of what he did at Brighton. I think it was on a hiding to nothing, wasn't he, at Chelsea? I think that was a bad choice. Bowley comes in, and Bowley wants to go a different way to what Potter does, how Potter works, and turfs him out the door quite quickly. And you could see then that it wasn't necessarily Potter. You know, Pochettino came in, the crap continued there. Now, there is some rumours going around that, is it Carl McCauley? I think he's the guy at Chelsea that Potter wants to bring in with him. Dan Ashworth, who was recently let go by Manchester United in Ratcliffe's cost-cutting regime, if you want. And there's the rumours that it's both of those or one of those that Potter wants. Now, does that spell the end for Steiden? Could Steiden walk? Who knows? We're kind of we're all in a conundrum at the moment. We none of us are any the wiser. I don't even think Lopetegui or Steiden know what the God's green earth is going on. But it seems to me that if Potter comes in, he's going to want one of those two. If he gets one of those two, it proves to me, or it says to me that he wants to be here for the long haul. The talk was that Potter was going to get a 6-month contract. Ashworth or McCauley are not going to sign a 6-month contract, not when McCauley's got a relatively decent deal going on at Chelsea at the moment. You know, he's employed. It's a long-term gig. He comes into West Ham. It's quite poor, isn't it? It's only 6 months. Why would you give up that to go sign a 6-month contract? So I think that might be what the hold up is for announcing Lopetegui going and Potter coming in, is because Potter's trying to negotiate promises of a longer term contract, of guarantees of Ashworth or McCauley coming in. Does that spell the end for Steiden? Is it someone that Steiden can work alongside? Who knows? Is it going to have to mean that we've now got to create a new job role, a new made up job title, if you will? Who knows? All I know is that I wanted to come on, give my 5 pence worth. I think Potter is the man. I was championing for Potter before Lopetegui got the job. I like the way that Brighton's set up. You know, they always had, if you take a look at when they sold Caicedo to Chelsea, they had McAllister to step in. They had Basuma. But in fact, I think Basuma went to Spurs, wasn't it? Caicedo stepped in. Caicedo went to Chelsea. McAllister stepped in. I might have my time frames wrong, but that's the way it feels to me that it happened. And there was always someone to step in. They always had their recruitment bang on. He liked to use the youth. But a lot of comments over the last, 24 hours. I made the comments with the Man City game. You got Freddie Potts out on loan, looking like he's flying down at Portsmouth. The management down there have said that West Ham have got a ready-made Premier League player. So recall him. Our midfielder are doing jack at the moment. So bring him back. We got Ward Prowse on loan at Forest. Doesn't look like he's doing a lot there. We'll bring him back. Can't do any worse than the midfield that we've got. We've got Ollie Scholes. He got some game time under Lopetegui. George Earthy's currently out at Bristol City. If we can recall him, bring him back. He got some game time under Moyes at the end of last season. So, Scholes and Earthy know what it's like to play in that first team. Got Caelan Casey there. So if Potter comes in and decides he wants to go 3 at the back, if Tadebo's injured, we have Casey sitting there that can also play in the back 3 as a centre back and is a competent player. I like the look of Caelan Casey. I like the look of Ollie Scholes. You've got Lewis Orford, who's there. Whether or not he's ready to step into the first team, I don't know. But he looks pretty good at the level he's playing at the minute. So, as I say, Potter has used youth. And Potter is known for playing one way throughout the club. It was a one thing that attracted me to him and his style before we got Lopetegui was that at Brighton, if the first team played a certain way, my understanding was that the rest of the playing teams below the first team played the same way. Because then, if they were playing in a FA Cup game, let's say they played Kettering, for instance, in the FA Cup, and he wanted to drop a central defensive midfielder or one of those midfield 5, the player stepping into it, that maybe a 16, 17, 18-year-old, already knew his role because he was already doing that role at his own level. For those of you that have got a decent memory, was it Odebeko that was bought on at Old Trafford? If my memory serves me correctly, he played Manchester United at Old Trafford. He was subbed on and then subbed off. And when spoken about afterwards, he actually turned around and said, I didn't have a clue. I didn't train with the first team this week. I was off training with the under 21s. I was called up. I was thrown onto the pitch, and I didn't know where I was meant to be. And he didn't look like he knew where he was meant to be. And that's just because they play different formations. They play different tactical styles of football lower down in our club. So with Potter coming in, as I say, it's the one thing that attracts me to it is the fact that he will get the teams playing the same way, formationally, tactically, the setups. And, it makes it easier for the transition for these players that are coming out of the youth team or the under 18s, the under 21s, the under 23s. I don't even know what ones we've got anymore. They can step into the first team and do it because they've been doing it previously for the age range that they're playing in. So it's good. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, this video could be completely outdated by the time I've finished. I've not got anything else open to see any news, Twitter, any of that rubbish, X, whatever it's called now. I've got nothing open. So I don't know what's going on in the world of West Ham right now. I'm just giving you my 15 minutes of my thoughts on it. I couldn't get it going last night, so I thought, let's go live now. So thank you. I've had 4 or 5 people watching, so thank you for that. Please hit the like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. I am going to be doing more and more content as time goes on. Obviously, if something happens today, which is a possibility, all the other channels will be going live, and no disrespect to those guys, or complete respect to those guys. I'm not going to compete with anything that they put up. So I will wait until a bit later. Hopefully I won't clash with anyone. I might not even go live. I might just record a video that you guys can then watch it your own leisure, without trying to force myself on some of the big boys as they're going live. So thanks for your time, guys. If you're watching it afterwards, let me know. Let me know your thoughts on Potter below as well. Is he the right signing? Would you be interested if he comes in and he does bring McCauley and or Ashworth with him? I don't think he'll bring both, but if he comes in and his desire is to create a recruitment strategy like Brighton had, is it something that interests you as fans? Let me know. As I say, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you maybe a bit later once it's been done. Come on, you Irons.